It's me, Sean Capri, and welcome to We the GamerCast. It publishes on podcast and youtube.com/YouMeCapri every single Monday, but patrons get it first. Thank you for subscribing, hitting that like button, leaving a comment on the video, and all the things. Telling your mom, telling your friends, telling your dad, telling everybody that you went trick-or-treating with. Imagine the door, like that's the one thing. I think we're missing out on an opportunity, you guys, when we go trick-or-treating with our kids. You could spread the word. It's rare that you're allowed to just like knock on the doors of your neighbors and you're taking something from them. So give them something back. Do them a favor. Say, thank you so much for the candy. Have you heard about We the GamerCast? This advice, of course, comes to you 3 weeks after Halloween or whatever it's been. How are you guys? It's good. I'm glad you guys are here. Today's episode is a little bit different, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because if you're new, here's the deal. Most weeks I have sweet hangs with a stranger from the internet. We talk about life and video games. And if you want to be on the show or if you just want to let me know how you think of it, you can tweet at me at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. I'm getting a little bit old. And when I say that, I shouldn't say I'm just getting old because I don't think I'm actually old, but I'm getting, my body is failing me a little bit because I'm not treating it very well because I'm overextending myself. And the reason I bring this up is because you guys don't know this because it's not a video podcast. This is audio only experience. And, when I do this intro, my hands are going everywhere, actually. I'm kind of like, I'm pointing at the screen. My hands are all over the place. And as I was saying that last bit before I got onto this bit, I kind of like twisted my shoulder a little bit and it kind of tweaked and it almost like took my breath away a little bit. So I have to get outside and go for a walk and I need to do some exercise again here. I'm falling back into my old ways. I have been relegated to sweatpants and pajama pants. I am not fitting into anything these days. So I'm overextending myself, which is one of the things I want to get to in a bit here before we get into everything. I've got a lot to explain here. I got a lot to talk about. I've done a lot of things since you and I last chatted here on We the GamerCast because I recorded that one before going to Rome, New York, and my goodness gracious, setting records all over the place. Extra Life, $23,000 raised by Phoenix Overdrive. Kato over at youtube.com/console Kato joins me on the Nintendo Drive, of course. She did like $6,000 in her stream. We ended up raising $5,000, Mr. Babbitt and I, collectively with our 24-hour stream. Amazing time. So much to talk about there, and I have to be choosy here. I don't know what to really like. I got to meet up with many people that I've seen before. I got to meet people who I've known for a long time for the very first time. Andrew Semichek I got to meet up with. Lee Navarro had us over at his house. We had an amazing evening, and then a full 24 hours playing video games and raising the money. And holy crap. PlayStation Canada, Xbox Canada, Ubisoft Canada, just giving all of the prizes. We had the best prize pack ever. We raised a whole bunch of money. And I gotta say, I could tell you guys about I could really spend a while, and I think we will. I think we're gonna have Lee Navarro, who heads up the entire Phoenix Overdrive effort there. We're gonna have him on. But man, like I was on the news in Rome. There's a lot to talk about, which I'm sure we'll get to when he's on the show. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to Josh Borboni, who man, did something so special. And I don't know, like I'm usually pretty bad, I think, of like expressing when things are like this special. It's like I go thanks, and I don't know, like I don't know how to like fully express it. So I'll do it here. I'm bad at privately acknowledging and being grateful, but I'm pretty decent at it doing it publicly like this, totally unannounced and unsolicited. But Josh, as many of you guys who've been listening to me for a while, you've heard me talk about an old 90s trading card game, kind of like Magic, but back in the 90s I was into a game called Overpower. It's a Marvel game with Spider-Man and Venom and all the Marvel characters, all those types of things, but basically like Magic. And Josh knew that I was into this game back as a kid, and that in recent memory I've been getting some cards off of eBay and stuff, and trying to finish off my collection that I still have, and the cards are still in good shape. And so he shows up at Extra Life with a big box full of cards, and it's like, the fact, like, I didn't ask him for that. I didn't even know that was going to happen. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just drops off this gigantic box of like really good cards, man. Really thoughtful. And I just had a great time sorting through them and then bringing them back home and getting them into my binders and everything. Just really, it's so weird because this probably doesn't land for anybody. Like if you give a box of cards especially these cards to like anybody else, it's like, okay, well, thanks. But like for me, it was such a perfect gift. I haven't got a gift like that was so meaningful, so special, so perfect. in a long time. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because now that they're in the binder, it's like that's like I will look at them and I want to almost like earmarks the ones that came from him because there's a lot that I didn't have before. Really, really special. Now I'm tripping up over my words, but this is where I get a little bit. Don't really know where to go from there, but other than to say, Josh, thank you so much, man. I will never forget that. Super special, great weekend with Extra Life. We'll have Lee on. We're going to talk more about this thing. But I was on a couple shows I want to tell you guys about before we get to Mr. Badbit. And what is this show even about? This is not our typical We the GamerCast. Okay, guys, I need to let you know about that. But before I do any of all of these things, it's all made possible by Patreon, patreon.com/YumiCapri, where you get exclusive shows, kind of like the one you're about to hear, and I'll get to that in a second. And I want to quickly thank all of our amazing patrons, almost 70 people over at patreon.com/YumiCapri, like our Capremium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, you just heard me talking about him, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive and the Nintendo Drive. You can support Jonathan Brown at youtube.com/PMENT. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller and Trucker Sloth, and our gold members, Argo, Benji Kong, Brendan Myers, who I saw in real life, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, and Xavier Reyes. You guys are all incredible. And speaking of Patreon, what you're about to hear with me and Badbit here will become an exclusive show over at patreon.com/YumiCapri and patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So this is kind of like what Donnie Reese and I, what we're doing with Sweet Hangs, where it's exclusive to Patreon, but either one. So you don't have to support both, but you can get it on either one. I love this like collaboration that we're doing. So the episode you're about to hear is me and Badbit with basically like an episode 0 talking about what this console war room is going to be. Badbit and I are going to be meeting every single month for an exclusive show on our Patreons and kind of going at like the tackling Xbox and PlayStation from, I don't want to say, like, it's not a fanboy standpoint. We'll get into it. We kind of explain it. But this is an example of that. So I kind of wanted to do a bit of a crossover episode. It's the We the GamerCast episode here. It's available everywhere. Obviously, you're listening to this. But after this, once a month, Badbit and I will be doing this show as an exclusive to our Patreons. So hopefully that all makes sense. Now, if I seem scrambled, it's because I am, man. First, I want to tell you about some of the shows I was on, and then I want to tell you why I'm a bit scrambled. Samuel Adams at Jam Pack Sam, he runs a little show called Exhibition and Xbox Podcast. It's not a little show at all. It's a wonderful Xbox podcast. I met up with Sam. Man, I don't think I talked about this on last week's show because it wouldn't have happened. I got a third thing I got to tell you guys about. I was on Game Explain with Joey Ferris, and at that point, that's where I met Jam Pack Samuel Adams, and we talked about the 1-year anniversary of the Series X and S of Xbox, and that was a great time. You guys should definitely go check that out if you haven't already. And through that, I met Sam, who asked me to join him on his podcast, Exhibition, an Xbox podcast, and guess what? He paired me up with Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, and we talked about the 20th anniversary of Xbox, and that was an amazing time, man. We kind of I feel like Luke and I, we did the thing that like Bobby and I used to do, where we're just like, it's our show now, just at least for the next like 6 or 7 minutes or so. And Luke and I had a really nice time just reminiscing about our days on the Xbox Drive together and celebrating the direction that we've gone since splitting back in those days. I guess that was almost 2 years ago now. Which is incredible. So go check that out if you wanted to. If you've been missing Luke and I podcasting together, I have, and so it was great to have that conversation on Sam's show. And so definitely go check that out. I think I'm going to have the show notes in the. The links in the show notes. And then the other show, actually, was right before that. I recorded episode 63 of Nintendo Pals with Andros and Micah. So guys, go check that. I got to do a Nintendo show and a Nintendo show and an Xbox show. And then today, what you're going to hear is me talking about PlayStation as well. So I'm getting all my bases covered. But this is all to say that I might push myself a little much between Extra Life and all the travel and the work trip that like blended into the play trip, I guess, or the content trip. And then all these shows and everything else, man, I'm getting the best and worst of life, really, all of it all together, because I got to meet up with freaking Joe after work and Joey Ferris at Nintendo World. I had breakfast with Lord Cognito, no big deal, all these things. And then I met Andrew Semichek from We the Nerdy for the first time, and we went over to Lee's house with Bab. I took the train with him. Like, all these things were amazing. But I think I overextended myself. And I know this because I have been losing things. I have been forgetting things more than usual. I know you guys are like, you always forget things. I do, but I'm literally like, I am losing things that are expensive, and it's not a good thing, man. Nervous laughter ensues. And so, I think all of this, I'm a little tired. I'm a little busy. I'm not doing anything really all that well. I'm getting stuff done, but I'm not doing anything all that well, I don't think. And it all kind of manifests in those things, but also my mood and how I kind of treat people around me. So I'm aware of it. I'm trying to be better. I have a busy night ahead of me right now, but I don't think I've got another week ahead of me like I did the last basically 2-3 weeks. So I was almost not going to talk about this, because it's really what is core to what is happening in my day-to-day life, my moment-to-moment life is that. It's me a little bit tired, a little bit overextended, a little not myself, a little stressed, a little anxious. And I was like, I don't want to, I was thinking I didn't want to talk about it on the show, because I don't want to feel like I'm complaining. I don't want it ever to feel I don't want people to think I'm a mess. I think that's part of it. And I think I feel like I've kind of I used to think that way. And I kind of had this realization as I was pulling up to the house. Of course, I had to get my Diet Coke before I recorded this podcast, both for myself and for my wife. And I was like, okay, I'm running through my mind, well, how are we going to talk about this intro? This is really what's on my mind. Alongside all the amazing things I just mentioned, I'm feeling all those things. And, once upon a time, I would bury those down. I wouldn't really talk about it. But I think that through my conversations with people on this show or about the show and outside of it, what I've come to realize is that we need more of that. And so I'm just kind of being open and honest with you guys that I'm sort of just... I'm hanging in there, man. I'm doing it to myself too. I even unfortunately had to cancel on another podcast. I actually canceled on 2 podcasts on Thursday night. Believe it or not, I was set up to do 2 podcasts on Thursday, then the 2 podcasts I did on Friday, then the streaming on Saturday. That's a little much, man. That's probably, but I can't say no. And it's a very busy time, and it's very exciting, and I'm honored to be asked on all these things. So, I'm just wanted to let you guys know kind of where I'm at. And if, I think we're all kind of in it right now, I should say. And I don't want to ever hide that. If I'm going through stuff, then I want to let you guys know, and I'll just be mindful. I don't want it to dominate. I don't want it to be a down or anything. Those are the types of feelings I have to keep me from talking about it at all. But I just wanted to let you in a little bit, and let me know how you're doing. I hope you guys are doing all right. But I think, at least for me, November, December tend to be a difficult time just in general, and I'm going through it right now, man. So if I've if I've come across a certain way to any of you guys, then I hopefully it explains it. I don't know if it excuses it, but hopefully it explains it. And I hope that you're doing well. So there. Okay. That's what I wanted to say about that. Go check out all the shows, Nintendo Pals, Exhibition, Game Explain. Goodness gracious, there's going to be more. I'm sure of it. Twitch.tv/Sean Capri, because guys, we've been playing Forza Horizon 5. We had 12 people playing this weekend, and who knew that Forza was going to be the multiplayer damn game of the year. But in any case, I want to talk about Bad Bit. I'm going to talk to Bad Bit. Here it comes. The conversation is a sort of sample. There's a little different take on We the GamerCast. This is not your typical We the GamerCast. We wanted to give you guys a public sort of version of what will be a Patreon exclusive. So for me and for our tier, or for our Patreon, it's the $3 and up, get the exclusive content alongside Sweet Hangs and the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast and the Yumi and Capri podcast. We're starting to get a bit of a stable of exclusive content here on patreon.com/Yumi Capri. So I hope you guys like this. Hope you want more of it. And if you do, go to patreon.com/Yumi Capri. Here he is, my good friend, Mr. Badbit.
Yeah, this is episode 00 of the Console War Room. I am your host, Joseph. Alongside me, the Xbot himself, Mr. Sean Capri of the Xbox Drive. How are you, sir?
Well, I wasn't sure, Joe, if I was going to be playing the role of an Xbot or a Nintendo fan. What's a Nintendo fanboy called? Like, what do they What do you call them? What's the Sony Pony version of?
I think they're Nintendo? Do they call them like Nintendo drones or something like that?
Oh God, probably something like it's just like you can tell they really like thought about it hard and long, and that's just what they ended up on, man.
Yeah.
The Nintendo, even Xbot, it's like good one, you know.
Yeah.
Even Sony Pony, what does that even mean? Like you're a horse?
Yes, we're Pegasi.
You're a shiny mammal. I don't know, man.
Yeah, a minotaur or whatever.
Minotaur. Well, yeah, so
man.
I wasn't sure. Like, obviously, you're Sony Pony, just all shining up and everything. And I don't know. Like, I guess some weeks I could come into this as a Xbot or whatever the Nintendo, people are.
That's the thing. So I wanted to make this show first off as just an excuse to talk to you, Sean.
Yeah, same.
Because I just miss your voice.
Yeah. We already have all the other things kind of covered. Like I've got an interview show, already. We each have our console specific shows. Like what else? Yeah. Those are all the shows. You can't do any other like audio form podcast. Like that's it. I do Sweet Hangs with Donnie.
I love Sweet Hangs.
That was the catch-all. That was like the everything else. So now we're trying to add on top of that. There's nothing.
And so what I wanted to do here, as episode 00, we kind of want to let you all know and kind of plan what this show is going to be all about. So first and foremost, this is a monthly show where Sean and I get in a room and we have the play on the console wars.
Yeah.
Because we can both agree it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna lure people in. You know what? The thing is that it's not a publicly available podcast either. Like this is a Patreon exclusive to both our patrons. We're Patreons, which I think is awesome. It's my new favorite trend. You know, doing it with Donnie and the PSVG crew. Like it doesn't have to be only mine and only yours. And these collaborations I think are always awesome. But if it were a publicly available podcast, it would be great because we would lure in all those console war people, and we'd be like, we're friends actually. Like we're not
we enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, exactly. and probably one day I will be buying a PlayStation 5 as soon as I figure out how to get some good games out for it or make it smaller, reasonably sized.
Likewise, same to the ugly goddamn monolith that is the Series X.
Aggressive. Yeah, right, dude. Anyway, well, we saw a bunch of Series S's at Extra Life together. That was kind of encouraging. Very cool. Very, very portable. Even.
Very progressive.
Yeah, it was. I guess so. Progressively scanned. I had 1080p, not just the eye.
Can I tell you something? I will never do what I did with my PS5. Like I'll never bring it to Extra Life. like the way I did.
Yeah.
I'm already playing. Like we're already playing it next year, and I'm like, I think I have to drive with this thing. Because lugging it around like it was Baby Yoda, it's just you're so. It's not like it's heavy. It's just I'm paranoid.
Yeah,
I'm paranoid someone's gonna steal it.
You were Norman Reedus with like the packages, and you had to walk very carefully, one leg at a time.
Yeah,
left trigger for the right foot, I think it was, and right trigger for the left foot.
Exactly.
Inverted.
Exactly.
Because Japan. You know what I think we need to do though? We need to normalize this for Extra Life in the future. Is that whatever you need, go to the Best Buy in Rome, New York, buy it, and then return it the next day. Yeah. So if you need a PlayStation, just go buy one. Although I guess you can't really just walk up and buy one at this point, which is kind of nuts.
By next year. By next year, we should be able to. Things should be cooling off.
Yeah, I think so. Well, God of War is going to come out for the PS4, so people will obviously be buying a PS5 to play it.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah. That's how that works.
This is going to be just tons of this passive aggressive. We believe in generations. Like that's what people can expect from, at least from me, for at least for the next 6 months. Is we believe in we could have called it like the generational podcast.
Yeah, or we could have said that like Xbox puts out half-baked PC ports of their Xbox.
Damn! Wow, you got me.
Podcast.
The Viking colon the podcast.
We can say that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's real talk though. One debate needs to be about.
Yeah.
the asymmetrical versus whatever the
Oh
other
man.
one
Oh
is.
dude, there's a lot you can do on the controllers itself, even like the rumbles and
Yeah.
the batteries and the asymmetrical thing and the
Hmm.
whatever else. I mean, there's that hidden feature in the Xbox controller where you double tap the button at the top and it switches to the last console that you were paired up with. Very
Yes.
cool, man. Very, very good, especially because I've got my Series S and my Series X back there. It just kind of double tap.
Also, there's like this little feature of the middle button right here for captures.
Oh, it's
That's some,
terrible.
that sometimes you press it and it works.
Yeah, sometimes it works. If you do it once, it's got like a cooldown period. It's like
Yeah.
a power up. You know, it's like your
It's
ultimate.
like the A for effort of buttons for them.
Oh man, it's like it's so bad, dude. It's like it just drives me crazy. Like it was this fall, a bunch of games had come out and I was playing Tales of Arise and like I
Mhm.
was kind of just I wanted to go trigger happy with the share button. It's just like I kept missing things and just I was real mad about it. I almost rage quit the share button, you know?
Uh, Honestly, I tried playing. I forget what. I think it was like Demon Souls or something.
Yeah.
Like there are some games where it's like I could only play it on PlayStation because if I'm playing like a Souls game, it has to be on PlayStation. If I'm playing it on Xbox, it just feels like I'm kissing my cousin. It's just like, yeah, I'm playing Dark Souls, but it just feels wrong.
So the whole like kissing cousin things is like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like it's good because you're getting some action, but it's your
Exactly.
cousin.
And it's at the family reunion.
I've always heard that, but I never
Weird.
really understood what that meant until Okay, man. Well, what the hell is this? So obviously we've laid down the groundwork where we're gonna be pitching some passively aggressive,
Yeah.
shots at each other's console.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Patreon exclusive for each of us. This right now, what people are hearing now, can also be heard publicly on We the GamerCast, which is
Mhm.
pretty neat. People can get a sense of what the hell this is. And also, I
Yeah.
need an episode this week, so there's
Oh, isn't that something?
yeah.
So what I was thinking about this show, Sean, and it's kind of where every month we kind of just gather around and we talk about the biggest stories that surround each console.
I like it.
And we just kind of dissect it through that type of lens.
Sure.
Because it seems like every week there's a fruit physics that goes awry.
Yeah.
There is someone that's like,
Somebody's
look
mad
at
about the puddles.
look at all these reflections. Someone's talking about the resolution and PlayStation 5 Game X and Xbox Game Z, and just it's always like a pissing contest.
You know what? This show would have been so different if you and I started this 7 years ago. Because I think we actually would have leaned into our sides a little bit more, because I think those maybe those fights are still going on, and I just mute my Twitter well enough that I don't really see too much of it anymore. But
sadly still is.
It probably, it's probably still. And I don't do Reddit or anything. Like I've kind of just carved out a nice little island on my.
You say that you're only on 8chan, which I find interesting.
Right. Well, I heard that 9chan is really where it gets intense. So 8chan is. I just wanted to pull up just short.
Yeah, that's the type of chan you want to be at.
Yeah,
anything above or below.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of just a play on the console war malarkey with just two friends that can kind of appreciate each side. You know.
Well, it's great because I just played the PS5 for the very first time, so now I'm an experienced person who can speak
for about 5 minutes.
For about just until your PlayStation died. Because it couldn't handle a power surge or whatever the hell happened. But the rest of us just fired up our Xboxes, like we're back to normal, PlayStation down for the count, dude.
Listen,
the referee counted to 140 minutes.
That was a bad memory. I'd like to just.
I want to pull back immediately because I feel real bad. And then you know what? I was tired when it happened, but I was still at least with it to know not to poke fun at PlayStation at that time. Shouldn't have got a PS5.
I would have laughed.
Probably not a good time for that. You're just like, this thing is $700 and irreplaceable. I can't get another one. It's totally broken.
And Janet from PlayStation customer service is mean.
They always are.
Really
a couple things. I don't know if you want to just pick things randomly, but even just from I feel like as a first kind of topic, like we're celebrating a year with these consoles, man.
Right?
I don't know if that's kind of what you were thinking. But
I was.
Yeah, it seems like I got to hang out with Luke Lore the other night. Oof. And we. I don't like that. You guys are so mean to each other. One of these days, one of you is going to take it too far. Mark my words. One of you is just going to go like or maybe you already
Yeah.
have. Maybe there's a
Oh,
story
I'm
there.
about to. I'm about to.
Yeah.
Just wait till his birthday is on the 23rd. I've literally spent, you know, how I just talked about in before the show, like,
Mhm.
oh, I gotta really be smart with my money or whatever.
Yeah.
I have spent $100 to troll this man.
That's actually amazing. That's
And when I tell you what it is, you're gonna be like, yeah,
yeah. I think
yeah,
I
that
already
was the
am.
right call.
I
That
think
was
I
the
already
right
am.
call. So, Sean, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah.
How has the first year, and don't BS me, how has the first year of the Xbox Series X been treating you?
Man, I don't know about you, but have you gone back to a PS4? Have you gone back to an Xbox One X one of the, like at all? Like after playing the new one? I think that my argument and the
Mm,
thing that has to be brought up whenever this type of thing gets discussed
mm,
is it's all relative. And any first year with any console, not the best year. Generally speaking, I would say year 2, year 3, things kind of get hot and heavy. First year, probably not so much. You've got
yep.
enough to keep people who spent the money fairly happy. And that's kind of where I'm at. But there's a lot of holes that can be poked in that. And I'm kind of like setting myself up to be attacked on that front. I'm like, I know that there's a lot to be said that they ditched on Halo. Cyberpunk was supposed to be, I think, the thing in Xbox land that hit last year. It was kind of like cross
Oof.
dimensional or cross generational that didn't really land at all. The Medium didn't really hit the way that it probably could have. The Ascent was another one that was kind of coming up and didn't really land.
9.7 game of the generation.
Yeah,
Is that?
not a lot of those. However, we're now a week after Forza Horizon 5, which is sitting somewhere at like 8 million players. So
Yeah.
for me, it's about the like everything else. Like I think Game Pass has been banging, and I wouldn't want to play those games on Game Pass on anything but a Series X. So it's a
Yeah.
bit of a roundabout way to say I'm still happy with it. I have both consoles,
Mhm.
but there's the games argument is one that is probably valid at this stage.
Still,
I
even
think
with
so.
like, you know, depending on when this podcast comes out, Halo is either multiplayer is either out or going to be out very soon.
Yeah. Well,
Still,
and
would
that's
you
the
say
funny
that?
thing is, the funny thing is, I think Halo, even in just like a beta form or the technical test, the flights that they did, kind of saved Xbox in a weird way as well,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of good kind of just community building that came out of that. Even though the game didn't even come out, people kind of started to believe in Halo again, and through that, Game Pass and through that Xbox. So that and the gotcha with MLB the Show, I think was a pretty big deal. There was more of those types of things. It was a non-traditional first year in terms of things that you're looking for to look when you're looking for signs of life on a platform. It wasn't your usual returnals like PlayStation had them,
Oh,
and especially
did
the
we? Oh,
launch
yeah.
lineup. Like there's not even honestly like there's not a comparison. The
Yeah.
launch lineup for PS5 was just ridiculous.
It was fucking stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so before I even
I just
get
didn't like that I
into,
was lied to. I'll just say that. I didn't like
yeah,
being lied to.
no, Jim, you fucking
Dance
son of a
moves.
bitch.
Mhm.
Let's work in the future, Jim. So talking about Xbox for a sec, I this is a different energy for the company as a whole.
Yeah.
Because when I take a look at this year, it seemed like every week they had something to say.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
week they were in the news. Every week, and it wasn't like, you know, there were some missteps. Like remember back in like, what is it, like
Yeah. Xbox
February?
Live when they did the
Yeah,
double. Yeah.
we're gonna charge you double because we want you to just jump on Game Pass already.
Yeah.
Like there were those moments, but like yeah, having Outriders on Game Pass. And look, Outriders is not the game of the year by any stretch of the imaginations. And
Speak for yourself.
oh, sorry, but in truth, there is truth to like, oh, this game that I was going to have to risk maybe $60, I don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
Or like MLB the Show, what a huge get for them, even if it like died out in a week or two afterwards, right? It's just like in the moment, those moves seem really progressive, really pro-consumer, and it's something that you want to cheer Xbox on. And I think we're reaching a point, and I hope people kind of realize this, is that PlayStation's in a really good place.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're complacent, because take a look at, they got Wolverine, they got Spider-Man, they got God of War. They're
Honestly.
great. They're doing what we expect them to do.
Right.
right? So they're not making the news because, yeah, we expect God of War to be great. We expect Horizon to be stellar. We expect all this. What we don't expect is how hungry for the audience the Xbox is,
Yeah.
and how hungry they are for the studio talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mean, that Bethesda deal changed shit,
A
Sean.
little bit. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of examples like that. And it's funny when you say, like, how was the first year with the Xbox? I'm like, I feel like we were talking a lot about Xbox this
Yeah,
last year, but then you think about like the games and you kind of fall flat a little bit. Cause I like, and people, I've heard this conversation go around and people go like, well, Flight Simulator. It's
shut up.
like really, like, and I
Knock it
know
off.
that there's like 7 people out there who are just really stoked about it. And it like, they
Yeah,
had a great time with it and they continue to play, but it's like, you don't, just admit that it's like that wasn't it, you know? Like don't hang your hat on
yes,
something that you don't really like really stand behind. Because I
yeah,
don't like, and I think the game is amazing. I think it's awesome and people should take notice of it. And we're lucky to have it on the console. But it's not like that's not the type of thing that you put up against the Miles Moraleses of the world or
yeah,
the Demon Souls that would like basically up the bar and reestablish the new bar for remasters. Like that's not what you do, you know. It's not. It's Flight Simulator, isn't it? Forza Horizon 5 is it? Like that's where
yes.
we can finally start saying like they've been swinging. But it's been a weird year because yeah, we've been talking a lot about Xbox and some of the great things that they've been doing. But you look back on the year of games, like I kind of have to look at my list and go, I think the main benefit is just I didn't pay for many of these because of Game
Yes.
Pass, you know.
And I truly think, Sean, that that was this year in Xbox is kind of like the glimpse of what the future of Xbox is, which is a lot of these games you're just gonna pay $15 a month for.
Well, I think these next 2 months, and it'll be interesting as we continue to do the show. Like, I think
Yeah.
these next 2 months, we're going to learn a lot. Like, if this is actually going to work. I think the 8
Hmm.
million players on Forza as of whatever it was today, I think Justin Davis from IGN tweeted, like, you were
Yeah.
one of 8 million players on Forza. Like, it has the leaderboard thing. So that's where these numbers are coming from. And so I think between that and then Halo and then everything else, like, you just start to see, okay, like, this could be, like, who knows what the coalition is going to be showing at a certain point. Like, now we're talking. And I feel like that's why I've wanted to kind of hold back over the last year or so when I say like, oh, they've now got it. It's like they don't quite have it just
But
yet.
they're
Wait
getting
until they
there.
do. Wait until they do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like the calm before the storm
A
almost.
little bit, little rumblings, definitely
Yeah.
things to be excited about. It's not like there's nothing. Like that's definitely like if somebody came into this as an argument and kind of like swung that way, like there's nothing to be excited about an Xbox. Like that's not it either.
Yeah.
But it's also not like 360 in 2007 or whatever it was, where it's
Yeah.
like you had BioShock and Mass
The
Effect.
greatest
Like
generation. Let's be
totally
real.
like it wasn't one of those. Yeah, really. But and that's funny because that's the generation that got me into like back into content in a big way and like listening to it and stuff like PS3 Beyond, of course, and the
Mhm.
360
I was
era.
on that show. I was on that
Yeah.
show.
Dude, you're a star. I can't believe I'm even podcasting with you.
I know. I expect residual payments.
In Canadian dollars. I'll send them in
Yeah.
Canadian dollars.
Okay,
So
cool.
good luck with that. Yeah. Take it to
Yes.
Wawa.
Oh, shout out to Wawa, you goddamn treasure of the state.
So a good year. And like, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we're going to be doing our game of the year type of stuff in a couple of weeks here anyways. And my argument really basically since the whole like Xbox has no games thing came to light is like, 92.5% of the games are like platform anyways. Like your Far Cry's, your Assassin's Creed, your Call of Duties, your whatever else. Like so many games are the same across both of them. And as far as the performance goes, also the same. So then you're looking at the exclusives or exclusive experiences or exclusive ways to play to each one. PlayStation exclusive titles and in Xbox it's Game Pass. So it's a
Yeah.
little different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, I think it's been a really good year for Xbox. And now I want to talk about the amazing year that's been for PlayStation.
Oh God.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Honestly, I'm gonna say something very fanboyish. I think this was the best launch when it comes to games out there. I loved it. I was always playing something. We talked about it on the trophy room this week. It was just like, yeah, once I got done with Astrobot, I'm like, oh, this is delicious. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to Miles. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that meme of like when the kid's eating and he's picking all the things he's eating and he's enjoying himself. That's what I kind of felt like
Yeah.
I was in for a month and a half till I got COVID, and that's kind of screwed everything up. But for me, like, yeah, let's talk about the games that were on PlayStation. Of course, Astro's Playroom, the pack-in. You got Demon Souls. You got Game of the Year Godfall. You have Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? The Pathless, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And then you had, and who could forget, Destruction All Stars.
Okay, but now you're just listing
Push
like
square.
games. Like this is not what I like. Pick
Push
out
square.
the ones that actually matter there, because like let's be real.
Bug
You're just
Snacks.
Yeah, no. Again, don't hang your hat on bugs. You don't even like Bug Snacks.
It's fucking
Don't
stupid.
hang your hat on that. Like, be real with it, man. Like, because there is stuff that's really good there.
Yes. So
Astro, I think, and Spider-Man are just like excellent. Demon Souls, excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And for me, those are the three titles, and Pathless. I really loved Pathless. No bullshit. Really loved Pathless. There was something about the movement and shooting the little like figureheads that were floating up there. It just felt nice when you're gaining momentum.
Was that an exclusive?
Yes, I think it still is. It'll probably come to Xbox eventually, but I know it's also on iPhone.
Oh, interesting.
It is, yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Also, shout out to Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Sean, when you get your PlayStation 5 eventually.
Is that one actually exclusive, or should I be buying that on my PS4?
Oh wait, you could buy it on, and that's the thing.
That's
great
the
point.
thing. That's
great point. How many of these games do you actually need to
Not
play
even
on
Miles
your
Morales.
PlayStation?
Miles Morales is still on my Christmas list for my PS4.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
That's
So gotta play that. I haven't played it.
God, you suck. So yeah, no, that's actually a great point, because as I'm rattling off games, there's quite a few of those games.
Yeah, I already kind of did that filtering. I kind of like, and even like I didn't even bring up like Gears Hive Busters, which isn't really a game, but it definitely is like, it's a great experience.
Yeah. And so for me, I really enjoyed my time with the PlayStation 5 this year.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about like Demon Souls, that game is beautiful. I saw a lot of people talking about how it's prettier than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well, I think and
it's also unfair.
You guys were talking about this on the trophy room as well, and it is unfair because they're just different scope of game.
Yeah.
As soon as you go open world, it's like you're going to take a hit.
Yes. Now, I will say, because when I gave you the PlayStation 5 to try out, I gave you Astrobot. I introduced him a check out of. He ruined your experience, I think.
Oh,
because he sucks, and him and Luke Lloyd, they're enemy number one.
Damn, I don't co-sign that at all.
But here's the thing: if I wanted to show you how pretty the PlayStation 5 is, I show you Demon Souls. Yeah. If I want to show you what the DualSense can do, which I feel like is the thing that is actually different in this generation, I give you Astro, and that's why I gave you Astro.
I wish you could have given me the SSD proof. I wish you could have shown me something that was like, wow, this thing is so much faster and game changing, because that's something that we heard all about.
Can I be real?
Yeah.
I think both of that was bullshit. Like, I think load times are really fast on both consoles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still
far from instant.
It's far from instant.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 5 seconds and I can't be on Twitter.
I really thought PlayStation was going to be like, when I saw those numbers come in, I was like, holy shit, man. Like that is twice as fast as the Xbox. Like that really should translate. And maybe we're not there yet. Maybe it'll still come.
Yeah.
And there are instances where it's faster.
Sorry.
But yeah, there's that. Yeah, no, I didn't love the rumble. In the controller. I cannot be won over by this. Nintendo and PlayStation just overselling it, dude, at this stage. I thought it was the triggers very cool.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. That is just like, I do wish, and I hope that they last. I will say that it's this
how
is
am I
my
gonna
dad.
repair this thing?
Well, yeah, and my dad, he said we didn't have like power windows in our cars for like many years, probably because we were poor, but also because my dad was like, just another thing to break. Like, are you sure you want power windows in your car? Like, just another thing to fall apart.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things as a joke, thinking about my dad like pulling on those triggers, like, oh, just another thing for a malfunction. But those were very cool, man. That was really awesome. But yeah,
I will have to say, if this DualSense survives another 3-4 months, I'd be very happy with it.
Yeah,
because this thing took a tumble the other day.
Oh no!
And it was in the suitcase that was like rattling around. So I'm like, I'm very shocked that one's lasted as long as it has. But to me, I've really enjoyed my first year with my PlayStation 5, because if I'm talking about the experiences that I really can't get anywhere else, I do think of Demon Souls as the
Yeah.
prime example.
Yeah, that's on the list. I gotta play that one.
And then all the way comes to Returnal,
Yeah.
which was, to me, fucking incredible.
Can I say, from the outside looking in, I feel like the PlayStation community almost buried that thing before it even came out.
Yeah,
You guys were all talking about like, how is this thing $70 and all the like, you're just like
you're right.
generating all this confusion and whatever. And it's not you. It's just like every time I like, you should be so happy that Housemarque had gotten the resources to make this big game,
Yeah,
to finally realize this vision that they've been trying to transition from their arcadey style things to a big thing, and now it gets like the limelight, and everybody's like, I don't know about this one. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's the worst part about fandom. And
yeah.
Xbox has done it before, and sometimes Nintendo fans will do it as well. Like, we get this every once in a while, but it's like I find myself almost too sensitive to this, and I'm trying to work on it,
No, you're
where
right.
but where like there a narrative can catch on and it's hard to escape it. I think
Yeah,
Cyberpunk's gonna have a really hard time to escape its narrative, and it has earned it,
yeah,
by the way. But yeah, like even Halo with Craig, I thought that they've had to delay the game a year to walk
yeah,
away from the narrative
yeah.
that was generating there. So it's tricky, man.
So for me, talking about Returnal, I think you're right. I think uh, the $70 price tag scares a lot of people, or
Of
at
course.
least makes them cautious. Because now all of a sudden, though it's only a $10 jump, it's just like, oh, this game has to do something
Mm-hmm.
extra.
Mm-hmm.
And like to me, I'm like, listen, if I gotta pay $10 and there's no microtransactions in this game, it's just the experience. Cool.
Yeah.
Here it is. Because I'm honestly sick of like, Ubisoft does this shit a lot now too.
Yep.
It's just like XP boost,
Yeah.
crazy
$10.
cool gold gun, $15. It's
Yeah.
like, why couldn't this be in the game on day one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like for me, taking a look at Returnal, um, fuck. Sean,
Yeah.
you were right. I remember you were like, Joe, why are you guessing? Like similar things. Like, why are you guessing this? This game's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And it's Housemarque having
Mm-hmm.
almost enough money to make a AAA game,
Yep.
and they do some stellar things. Like the combat's great. It's challenging. At the same exact time, the story, which I feel like is always ignored,
Yeah.
is incredible because they
Yeah.
give you this like Aliens Geiger meets like Metroid-esque
Mm-hmm.
roguelite
Yep.
like story, and it's so weird that you want to explore it.
From day one, I wanted to play that game.
Yeah,
Like almost as if I've played Housemarque games before, almost as if I've played PlayStation games before. Like I'm not a
yeah,
total Xbot. And then when I heard people getting like coming on Housemarque for this, I'm like, have you played a Housemarque game before? Like, do you know that this is your gem? This is the one you want. This is the
this is the
best
one you take home
studio.
to parents.
Yes, it really like it was the one that hadn't been locked down at the time that you wanted them to do. And they
Yeah,
finally did it. And it's like it was confusing to me hearing all these PlayStation fans question Housemarque. Like, that's not the studio you question.
yeah. And so walking out of Returnal, it is, spoiler alert for the awards that we'll be doing in a month. It is
Dodie.
it is the one to beat right now.
Yeah, wow.
It's the one that keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me, it's just like, yeah, this is a studio that has had these smaller experiences, but always understood the fundamental gameplay
Yeah.
premise that they were pitching. And then they finally had enough money to make something weird and narrative
Yep.
focused. And fuck, was it good?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
man.
we could curse yet. But then the next game we got was Ratchet and Clank,
Yep.
which is also a phenomenal experience from Insomniac, their third game in a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, settle down, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
please. Which was also really great, but it has that thing of like, it's another Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, sure.
We've been through this. It's bigger. It's a lot smoother. It's a very
But it was
polished
one of
experience.
5 games that you just talked about. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the game. It was one of many, which I think kind of helped it out along with the rest of the launch and the PS5 just in
Yep.
general. Like
Yep.
that has a lot to do with it, I think. And that's not even anything to take anything away from the game that I didn't play, but that is one of them where I'm like, man, I'm so close. And even just, it's probably worth saying that like the biggest reason that I don't have a PS5 is just because it's just a time thing.
Yeah.
Like near the end of the PS4 generation, I found that I was buying the PS4 games and I wasn't getting around to really playing them beyond like the first day that I had them.
Fair.
So
Fair.
it's just like a simplification of my, like I'll play a game to catch up on my Nintendo show and then play a game on my Xbox show. And that was that was
Yeah.
kind of enough. And it's like, if I were to dive in to beat a PlayStation game, I wouldn't have anything to podcast about. And that's just sort of like it just comes with the life that we live right now, I think. Or at least
And
that I do.
honestly, it's kind of similar with Xbox for me. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll play like Death's Door was a great
Yeah.
game. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Or I'll play like the Game Pass game like Outriders. And if I really like that Game Pass game, it's also on PlayStation, I'm gonna play it on PlayStation.
How
I'll
dare
pick it
you.
up there. I know I'm a big piece of crap, but like even then, like most of your exclusives don't hit it for me unless it's Halo. And even
Yeah.
when it comes to Bethesda, like I don't really think they're that great. You know, when it comes to machine gun games and that's to me, I'm like, all right, okay, Bethesda.
And
But
that's the
like,
thing. I'm glad you got there, and also machine games. I'll save you the oops, Machine Gun Kelly games that you said.
did I say Machine Gun Kelly games?
Almost, you said machine gun, but in any case,
Oh, fuck
it's
me.
the whole gamut of studios that comes with
Yeah.
Bethesda. I know some people will point out like Fallout's not my kind of game, and it's like, yeah, but is Doom, is Wolfenstein, is that like a lot of yeah it is. Get out of here. Wolfenstein was great.
No.
Oh,
Spoiler
really?
alert.
Really?
Yeah, they make you kill a dog, and I don't like it.
Well, you killed dogs in Last of Us.
I don't know why I turned my brain off for that, but it was
They
hilarious.
made it like they gave him a character. You did it twice. You got to like play catch with him.
I know.
Like after the fact that like,
After the
oh, there
fact,
he
though, it
is.
was
Like he's
after the
dead. And then
fact.
you're like, oh, I'm going to go play catch with. I know what happens to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, we have so many things that we can talk about on this show.
I know.
We brushed up, I think, almost against like trophies and achievements, and The Last
Trophies
of
are
Us 1
obviously
versus
better.
2.
We don't even need that show.
This is the whole thing, man. Like I don't want to go there, but there's a lot for us to chat about.
But honestly, the fast forward, like I really like Deathloop.
Yeah,
I think that game was great.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? Arcane, get on.
Yeah.
You get on that train as well.
See?
Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
That was
PS2 game of the year.
Yeah. When Blessing said that, real talk, I'm like, I hate that. That is a shitty comparison.
A lot of people said that.
That was a shitty comparison because a few weeks
later, know where
people
are going to take that. And even if you mean it in a certain way, you just have to know like the words that you're saying. You're literally saying the PS2 is 3 PlayStations ago.
Yeah.
And people are going to take that in a certain way, man. And a lot of people ran with that.
Yeah, I did not like that comparison because I'm like, you're taking what is like this studio's first outing,
and
then a really good one as well. Again, their first game, and they just it's a very good to great experience.
Yeah,
you're like, it's a good PS2 game. Come on, that's such a boilerplate like reduction. Yeah, it's just like no, there's so much. It takes inspiration from those platformers, but it does so much, puts a lot of modern stuff in there to make it different. Anyway, nonetheless, really enjoyed myself there. And then we talk about, to me, the acquisitions because it's acquisition season.
Yeah.
So we married Housemarque.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Loved
really
it.
Really good. Jealous.
So good. And I truly think it's like someone approached them. Like I think Tencent approached them, and then they walked over to Sony, and they're like, "Hey, I know we've been talking for a minute about this. Just to let you know, this Chinese conglomerate that's buying everything, and let's not be an ounce concerned about it. They want us, and they're just like, okay, well, let me call up Dad.
I feel like the acquisition season that happened with PlayStation this year, like somebody knocked on Jim Ryan's door and was like, we don't own these companies, right?
Yeah.
Like, that we don't actually own them. It looks like we do. It feels like we do. Most people probably think that we already do, but like it's not real. We should probably put a ring on it. Like that's, and I think that's why a lot of people liked it. There was we saw a lot in the last year of people going like, I approve of this style of acquisition and I disapprove of this style of acquisition. There was a lot of, I'm okay with this and not okay with this. And I think it caused for a lot of heated debates.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to argue with the style that Sony did. I thought like it absolutely makes sense. It's something that we're fairly familiar with from the past, and it seems very natural and organic. And it seems almost like a promotion. It's like when the band that you like that you saw, they're an indie band, you're like, oh, you made it, and then you sold out to the whatever, and then you hate them, like the Nickelback thing that happened. But yeah, Microsoft didn't do that at all, really. And my thing is just like, I don't really care about like the intent or just the lead up at all. I just look at the result. And in both cases, I'm like, they're both good.
Yeah.
I think in both cases, the platforms secured studios and talent that they needed to advance their platform and to cater to their fans. And it's like, what is Nintendo doing? Like, why? What exactly are they doing? They're off in La La Land.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
that. And like, I don't look at like the Bethesda one and go like, thou shalt not do it like this. You should do it like this, because you know what, man? There could be a time where we go, they should have done it like Bethesda. Like there could be something like more like
Right.
quote unquote worse that they could do. They could go buy something else and suddenly go like, I
Yeah.
wish they did it like they did Bethesda. At least they had like a working relationship together from.
And that's why I'm not always on the Bernie Bang bus when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, like, okay, I'm not a fan. Like when they're like Xbox made by Sega or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any. There's nothing in that portfolio that screams this needs to be on Xbox.
Yeah.
Or it just kind of feels like you're taking something away from people. Whereas
Yeah.
like Bethesda, it's like, oh yeah, you could see they've had a really positive, relationship where like, yeah, when I think of Bethesda, I think of Morrowind and Skyrim. And when I think of those games, I do think of Xbox.
Yeah.
Even when I'm thinking of like Doom or Wolfenstein.
Dude, Microsoft
Thinking of
already did a
Xbox.
worse thing. They bought Rare, for God's sakes.
It's true.
They bought Rare in the N64 days and after the N64 days. That's worse. It might not be the only thing it's missing is a $7.8 or $9 billion price tag, but like that was more of a, what are they doing? They're actually jumping into another pool and stealing all the toys out and running away and like left Nintendo with like nothing.
Yeah.
At that point in time, it was devastating to Nintendo. That's where people really should be going. Like, that's not how to do it. But that seemed to be better, at least in my estimation.
It was kind of like what we say on the show a lot. The Insomniac purchase, which is like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
Totally. And that so it's hard to look at that and go, yeah, do it this way and not this way. Like PlayStation did it perfectly. That's exactly the way they should have done it. And like I said, dude, those guys should have held out a little longer though. Who's run the studio over at Insomniac? They're just like, you guys, like just another year, man. Like they would have quadrupled their selling price.
Yeah. Man.
But something obviously is going on over there, because isn't that the dude who was working at the Initiative? He was there, kickstarted things up over there, and then he went back to Insomniac, and now he's happy. Like there's obviously something happening there that brings somebody back from Microsoft dollars to maybe he was part of the deal. I don't know. I don't know the guy's name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I forget who. I honestly, I think what happened there was like. Dude. He was a cool looking dude. I think what happened there with what's that Quad A studio you guys have?
Initiative.
Initiative with 60 people, right?
Yeah,
sorry,
it's not Quad A. It was a stupid job title of the post that somebody did.
Yeah, no, I think starting studios is really hard and very expensive, and they probably looked at it going, "This is a bit more than we can chew," and they kind of took a look at Crystal Dynamics, who has an abusive relationship with Square Enix, and just went, all right, let's see what we could do here. And who knows, maybe
it makes you wonder, just like, I don't know, there's probably the history of a couple of these studios. I think Colin Moriarty did Naughty Dog and Insomniac.
Don't say his name.
I'm saying his name. He's a guy who and anybody.
How dare you?
No, I'm going to say it.
No, we're canceling Sean right now.
I probably wouldn't be podcasting if it wasn't for him.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
the podcast be on, like, dude, like it can't take, and even the fact that like him and Greg did the kind of funny thing and like showed everybody how to do that. It's like, maybe just you don't Voldemort the guy. Yeah,
and honestly, and like real talk, and all the people are like, he's a real me man. He's a evil person. Sure. It's like, yeah, well, he gave us a ton of codes when Bobby was sick, and
sure
where were you guys? Oh wait, nowhere. You were just complaining and canceling people. Okay, congratulations.
So exactly. What the hell is that? So the history.
I got a lot of rage there. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. We'll save that for when we actually go Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, where do studios come from? Is really what I'm trying to get around. Like, where do they commence? Where do they like? So we see them in where they are right now. You see like a single person studio who does like Stardew Valley, and then you've got like the Coalition, and it's like, where the hell did the Coalition come from?
Yeah.
Like, where did they start, or where does any like big studio kind of start, or where did Insomniac start? I want to go back in time a little bit and go, okay, because that's the playbook that everybody wants, but it's like nobody can recite. You know what I mean? Like nobody can say like, okay, tell me about like the first days of Naughty Dog and where did that come from and where did that relationship?
Right.
Like, let's walk through the actual mechanics of it.
Yeah.
And then we can have a conversation before we say somebody's doing it right or wrong. Because I just don't think most people even know what they're talking about when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I think you're right. And I think Naughty Dog made an RPG on like the Amiga or some shit like that.
Right,
Back
like
in the
you got to
90s,
go
yeah.
far back,
Far
and
back.
so then they find them like in the among so many other studios, and that was just like it's just a model from 20 years ago that
Exactly.
you'd have to get on board
And
with.
when I take a look at like PlayStation's gets, you're right. It's just like, it just makes sense. It
Hmm.
is like, Jim, you know, we don't own these. Oh, we don't? Okay.
Yeah,
And now you get your Blue Point, which are going to make a goddamn Bloodborne sequel, and and a Bloodborne remake, and it's going to
you
be
don't need. No, I'm with Kyle. You
great.
don't need a remaster or remake for. You need a, and that's dude. Talking about PlayStation versus Xbox, everybody's
Mhm.
screaming on PlayStation, like, give us remakes for all this stuff. We're like, we could use a patch and that's good. We'll be fine. And we're going to get it, I'm sure, tomorrow as we're recording this with the 20th anniversary. There's a whole
Sure.
bunch of stuff that just got updates. It'll take them up a resolution notch. It'll take it up a frame boost and whatever, all the things that you want. It's kind of like when you and I chat and you guys are all like, oh, I want like free healthcare and I want my education to be affordable and all, and no
Yeah.
guns. And it's like, just come to Canada, you idiots. Like we have it all here. Everything you're fighting about.
Really?
Just come here. Yes, we have all those things. You
So
can't
can I
just like
bring
go
my
to
gun?
Walmart and you can't bring your gun, especially across the border. You just say you leave your gun behind, and that's the only trade. But that's the whole thing. Like with Xbox, like we have this
But
here,
I
man.
named it and everything.
You named your gun
Yeah.
Lucy.
Yeah. It's the same
That's my
name I
rant.
named my penis. All right.
That's
So
my
yeah.
rant.
No, like, you know, Blue Point makes sense. The one Fire Sprite, which is odd right now, but we'll see how that pans out because we have
Yeah. Nobody
no
knows.
idea.
Yeah, so they did that one wrong. Yeah,
Fabric
so I
Games.
can't believe they bought that one, and also the PC makers, the NXS
Yeah,
studio.
Nexus.
I
Yeah,
know
and
you're
could
so
I get
young, you
real?
don't even know the band. Oh man, I'm
Nope,
so old. Oh
nope.
damn it, NXS. Oh.
What was that one? Is that
Yeah, we'll talk
like a
later.
grunge band? Okay,
No, it was like a shiny kind of poppy band, kind of. I don't know.
like
You
all
two
right,
sang about them once.
stabbing westward. That's all I got. That's as deep as I go. Great band. Okay, so first year of PlayStation, I think it's been great.
Very good. Yeah.
And I gotta say this for both of them, because I give the Xbox an A and I give PlayStation an A.
Yeah.
In terms of content that we've been playing.
Yeah.
This year is way better for first year consoles than last generation.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out if we needed to plug in our Kinect to turn our Xbox on or not. I was screaming at my Kinect. Dude, I wanted to believe the Kinect Vision so badly.
So bad.
Oh man, I wanted it. I wanted that like that Kinect 2.0 and it could see even like visible light and infrared light and gravity waves and whatever the hell else, like the spectrograms it could see, the exercise videos that it could get you doing, and it would follow you around the room on Skype. That was awesome. But it wasn't meant to be, dude. It wasn't really meant to be. But you're right. I think probably better. And again, like, you know, I didn't come prepared, but I would have liked to kind of go, when were we always going, this is a big deal, this game is coming to Game Pass? Because it always seemed like every other week it was like there's a game that people were stoked about that was either day and date or people were excited that it eventually got there. Like Scarlet Nexus is a game that is perfect on Game Pass. And even that is a term that we could talk about at some point. Just like, what does that even mean? And I think that when Nintendo with the Switch kind of started getting some of its momentum, people would say things like, you'd almost stamp it on the box, perfect for Switch. Like this game, and people would see it on another system. We're like, oh, I wish it was over here because it would be perfect for Switch.
And I think you know what that can mean.
It could mean many things. There's definitely different types of games that are perfect for Game Pass.
I'll give our frenemy Ains from Season Gaming, who's very old. He's so old though, dude.
God.
He was 23 when he bought the GameCube. What an old son of a bitch.
So he has muscles in his biceps that are older than
I
you.
know, right? It's like this guy's
also
jacked.
impressive. That's kind of a compliment, but also, yeah,
but also like, come on,
I take it back.
What do you have to prove?
It. No, I.
What do you have to prove,
Ains? That was mean.
You know, you could do one less sit up, you'd be fine. All right, so he said something along the lines of like, we're going to see Xbox make more risks, and I think what is a Game Pass game?
Yeah,
a game that isn't safe.
Yep.
Like take a look at Outriders.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a safe game to make.
Yeah.
And you can take a look at it and go, oh, is this third-person shooter? But like
Back 4 Blood, I think.
Back 4 Blood.
Oddly enough, sold really, really well, which is actually surprises me. It just kind of, this is the whole, like, we have our echo chamber of podcasting and commenting and stuff. And like, people are playing it just outside of us. It's like the League of Legends of games of like, there's all these things that like none of us talk about, but there's like a gazillion people playing them. So yeah, I think that you're right. Like there's a risk that can be taken. That's the narrative that we hear from developers, that there's a security that is involved when a game is signed to Game Pass. You just know people are going to be playing the game, and for so many of them, I think there's a joy, but also there's got to be a business sense of like you just need people to play it. You need people
Yeah.
to try it and tell their friend that they're playing it, so it kind of
Yeah.
spreads from there.
And I think that's what really Game Pass is, because like take a look at Outriders. It did fantastic day one, crash all the servers for a month.
Yep.
But like people went out and bought that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people went out and tried that game.
Because some people don't want Game Pass, which still blows my mind. Some people
Yeah.
just don't want to have the $15 per month. They would.
What do you
still
think that is? What do you think that is?
I think it's a saturation of subscriptions. I think is part of it. I think people are already at their limit. They've got their Netflix and their Hulus
Yeah.
and their whatever else, and like they just can't add another one. And the other side of it too is if you're a storied or sort of like an older gamer, like you've just been used to playing in a certain way. You want to buy your games. Owning your games means something.
True.
Some of us like to have a collection on the shelf. Like I think that means something. So Game Pass is, you know, it's the main event. It's the thing that people talk about, but it's just another option. And
Yeah.
that's the narrative that I think is not really spoken specifically about, but everybody is experiencing with Xbox, is that there's a tremendous number of options. However you want to play, like you can almost accidentally like trip into Xbox at this point.
Weren't we playing with Dano the other day? Forza Horizon 5. I was somehow playing on PlayStation. So yeah. Whatever.
That's amazing. Through a browser, I'm sure.
Yeah. So then, no, but like Dana was playing on cloud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were playing on Xbox, and I'm like, "Wow, that's nuts!" And so, and sooner rather than later, that's just gonna be normal.
Yeah,
and that's the cool thing about Xbox is like they're doing legitimately different things, and they're taking a lot more risk. And I think that's what Game Pass allows them to do, is just to get weird. You're always gonna have your tentpole titles like your Halo and your Gears and your Forzas, and you know your now Bethesda games like, you know, your Elder Scrolls, I was going to say Skyrim and Fallouts, but then you're going to have those other games that are going to do and take more creative risks. And
that will surprise you. Those are the games that like really make an impact. I think even Psychonauts 2, not an exclusive, but that's one that surprised me and really kind of caught my attention. And when you say like what it allows Xbox to get weird, that like I hadn't thought of this until you literally just said those words. It's like that's what we've gotten from PlayStation, from Nintendo all these years. Like that's how people describe Nintendo. Like they got weird, and that's what I think people were getting a little bit nervous about in the last year when PlayStation was kind of saying like we're only going to be investing in these blockbuster experiences. They're like whoa, people are like whoa. Like we've been spending the last like 12 years or so enjoying the weirdness, man. We like it when you get a little bit strange on us. We like the Kojima effect, even though that single game isn't going to sell a gazillion copies. Like it speaks to just the overall, I don't know, there's an intangible there that I think that's what Xbox has been after. They haven't been able to duplicate it in the same approach. So it's a different angle to get to the weird, I think is really awesome.
Yeah. So for you, Sean, grading this year for Xbox, we both graded an A.
Yeah.
Where do you look towards the future? Is the future bright? Is there some things that you're a little concerned, I guess, about? What is it?
I think that one thing that I think they really need to lock down in Xbox land is just how they communicate on the, like, how do they compete with the Nintendo Direct, basically. I think for the most part, they've got actually PlayStation and Nintendo beat on like this, just the social front. Like I think everybody can just be, you know, they know who all these people are. And there's, I think maybe a bit of like a staleness that's happening in PlayStation and Nintendo of like, there's a dude or a woman who's just like, they're talking us through some trailers and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And so you can see Xbox trying to veer outside of that, but they kind of, they oversteer and it's a little, it doesn't quite land either. So I'd like for them to hit a cadence and a really polished thing that they can tell us what's coming. So there's that part, but I think that we're going to see like games drop a lot, dude. I think we're about to see this Halo and then Forza just kind of like trickle into next year. And we could be looking at a really, really awesome year as soon as 2022. What I'm worried about is everything gets slipped into 2023 and we have another year, and that's where patience could start to wane. But even on the counter to that is Game Pass. That is the filler. So they can make deals, they can wheel and deal. I'm just looking at
also, can I say Game Pass filler is not a bad word to me.
Definitely not. No, definitely not. Like I'm looking at my app here. It's like Dragon Quest Builders 2 is awesome. 12 Minutes is a game that I never got around to that I really wanted to. Dude, there's like what? Disney Plus perks? Holy snap.
Oh shit.
Bassmaster Fishing, of course.
Oh, dude, you gotta get,
How
dude,
could we forget?
Bassmaster? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic on Xbox's future. I think it looks great. I do think you're gonna get. They want a game a quarter. I think that's what you're gonna get. Um, I truly think what is exciting about Xbox is the pieces are falling into place, and they're finally getting that nice first party lineup that they've admired or maybe always wanted from a PlayStation or a Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like now they finally have it. So now all we're waiting is for the Redfalls to drop, is for
Yeah.
your Starfields to drop.
Yeah.
Look at Starfield, tracked really well. All we got is like a goddamn poster and a ham sandwich.
Mhm.
Like, we really don't have any idea what that game actually looks like, gameplay wise, but like, people are really excited for that.
Yeah.
People are excited about Xbox again. That's really great. The one thing that I want from them though is more parity between PC streaming
Yeah.
and Xbox and console in terms of Game Pass, because there's a lot of frustration there on the PC end of like, oh, we got this but we didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little messaging there that I think they really ought to nail down.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Can't argue there.
When it comes to PlayStation, I want them to talk to us more.
Yeah.
And actually, like, to
talk when it matters, by the way. That last whatever you call the state of play, maybe not necessary.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, for Xbox, it's like, guys, stop taking risks when it comes to communication. You need to do something that goddamn works.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Nindies, look at state of play, like, look at these things and just do them. When you have a big, like, the one thing I loved from Halo, from like the campaign overview that we saw a few weeks ago, not the thing that we'll see today, is like, it was Cortana talking. It's like giving you the feelings of Halo and then what you're doing in that world.
Yeah.
Right. Similar to that of a state of play for Horizon. It's like, that is what you need to do, because that got a lot of people psyched for Halo and proved it to a lot of folks, rather than having some cringy like host on there. No offense, but like talking about stuff, and they're selling me off fake enthusiasm. Like, I'm not buying it anymore, and maybe I'm just jaded that way. But
well, man, they hit it out of the park with Paris though. So Xbox,
he's great.
He was great, and I think that, I don't know if there's a certain period of time before somebody becomes that too polished, right? Like, he was clearly excited to be there. Like, he had kind of worked his way up, and he's been grinding the whole time, and so you got a little bit of that like natural excitement. But when you're like, here I am going to tell you about the great games that are coming to Xbox, and I'm really excited to tell you about them. It's like, you're saying the words you're excited in the exact same tone and tenor as all the other words.
Like, a la the Twitch Xbox showcases they did twice, and everybody noped out of immediately.
Yeah.
Like, the host didn't even know, like, there was not enough preparation. Anyway, don't experiment there. Play it safe. Do what PlayStation does. And when it comes to PlayStation, here we Jim go. Ryan, I'm looking at your Picasso painting of a man. Listen, you're great at branding. You need another brand besides State of Play. You need a indie showcase.
Yeah.
Because you're right. That last showcase, I knew what I was going to get. I knew that it was going to be a lot of weird shit. You need that to be a PlayStation indie event. Whatever you want to name it, whatever. But that's a PlayStation indie event. And your state of plays are, here's your big third-party games. Here's your deep dive into Horizon. Here's your deep dive into God of War. That's what your state of plays are.
Mm-hmm.
State of plays are way too hit or miss.
Yeah.
Gotta get focused. I think they heard that this showcase.
You know what they need to do, actually, as we talk about this? Because sometimes I get a little like, man, we're bitch whining and complaining all the time. Like, somebody else has got to do something better. It's like, we can do that. Like, a lot of the promotion and like generating excitement is like, how are they working with podcasters? How are they working with YouTubers and content creators to get this done as well? I feel like Ryan McCaffrey was so far ahead of the game, bringing his sort of magazine experience into IGN with like IGN First and almost like a cover story mentality. Game Informer still doing that as well. But like, where else is that? And I think it just takes a lot of, I think there's a reason they don't do it. So it would take a lot of work to work with somebody like you or me or many of us.
Not just that, it's hard to track analytically.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but sometimes sometimes you can't have things like locked together analytically like a Google analytic. It's
Right.
like sometimes you just need, the conversation, the impressions might have to be enough. And there's an element of their marketing plans that are like that as well. Like some of it will be conversion, and some that'll
Mhm.
be another conversation you and I can have as
Ooh.
as our professional lives take us into like marketing, really. So
Yeah.
there's and I don't know about you, but like every now and then somebody says like they just need to do like marketing better. To say, do you have any idea what you're talking about? Like there's so many disciplines within marketing. It's like people will say like, and they mean commercials, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, is it the research? Is it the analytics of the conversions? Is it just the awareness promotion? Like, what is your goals? Like, dude, I could talk about
So,
marketing all day long.
yeah. And so with that, like PlayStation communication needs a bit of work. And I think what PlayStation ought to really take
You
a
want them at
note
E3?
on. No,
You want them gone from E3?
really don't need that event anymore.
I hate you so much.
And I know
I had a great time
we're
at
not gonna be
E3.
ready. We're not gonna be ready for next E3. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean? Who's not going to be ready for? Oh, for the world. The world's not
Yeah,
going to be ready
give
to
her
the.
one more year. Give her one more
Oh,
year.
come on, dude! I
It's
can't.
just
I can't even. You can't give that to me here. That's such a
mm,
downer to close things out
I'm
on. We're
sorry. I'm
not gonna
sorry,
have.
but no, I don't think we're gonna have E3 because I don't think we genuinely. I don't think we need it. But I do think when it comes to communications, you're right. The way that they talk to creators is just not great.
No.
It's a mystery. It's an enigma,
Mm-hmm.
and it for me it kind of sucks because I want to. I would love to gain access to the PlayStation Lab, not for the free game thing. That's neat and all, but like I really want to pick these people's brains, and it's really hard to get, you know, not even like a Corey Barlog on your show, but like someone from a Housemark, someone
Yeah.
from a Blue Point, and just talk about their game because they are so, vacuum sealed
Mm-hmm.
over there. So I would
Yeah,
love
how do you
that
get
type
these
of
people from these
communication.
studios going on like the circuit? Like, and I don't know if they do already as like but the circuit is gigantic publications out there. Like, how do you get some of these people on? Is it just the IGNs, the Forbes, and I don't Game Informer? Like, is that
Yes.
it? Like, how do you? I don't know. Like, dude, they
Yeah.
sent us to Coalition. The Xbox drive was at the Coalition. We talked to
Isn't that
Rod
neat?
Ferguson. It was amazing, dude. But I would
Yeah.
love, and it doesn't have to be like the biggest gigantic games, but there is a happy middle because we get even in Xbox line, we get the indie games that come out, and it's like that's great if I had the time to like go play them and experience them. What I think would be even better is a curation that happens
Yeah.
of like these are the ones in Xbox land you kind of want to be talking about. Like these are the hidden gems that like we think could be something to pay attention to. And the other side of it is I think it's hard to do that because you don't even know what a game is until it's done.
Yeah.
Really, I think PlayStation had a good example of that with Until Dawn. Like they didn't know what the hell it was. They didn't know it was good. And then it came out. They're like, "Why didn't you tell us about this?" Like, I think there's an Until
Yeah.
Dawn that comes out probably every week. They're like,
Yeah.
"Why didn't you tell us about this?" And I think that's the frustrating part that you're kind of speaking to with this whole
Yeah.
communication thing.
Yeah. But like when it comes to the games, like just keep pumping them out. I got faith in you.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, like again, I get panic attacks just thinking of how I'm gonna split my time between Horizon and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's gonna be a good year for both
Oh
consoles.
yeah.
And the one thing as we talk about these console wars that I've really liked here is that there is no winner.
Yeah.
We're just in our ecosystems
That's what
enjoying
losers
it.
say. That's what losers say.
I know.
There's no winners. Participation trophies all around. Well, you're probably right because it's never ending. There is no winners because there's not a finish line.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting race. It's an interesting kind of jockeying for position that happens. Like that's some of the most interesting conversations I think last year came out of. I can't believe Xbox. Like, how did they get MLB the Show? Like things like that, where you're not trying to go like, oh, they really like. There's not a winner, like kind of what you're saying here, but like it's interesting. You'd be not doing yourselves any favor by just
Yeah.
ignoring those types of conversations. They're super fun.
Yeah. Well, that said, that's been the year one.
Yeah.
This has been the console war room.
Yeah.
Sean and I fought it out.
We're gonna have a different name for it, I think, every time. Is it the
I
console
think every
war? I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
Whatever. We're workshopping it.
Yeah, we're workshop name and product. Doesn't really matter. You're on
Doesn't
our
matter.
Patreon.
Exactly.
We're having fun. We like to have fun here.
Yeah. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next month? We're going to talk about the game of the year and why it's not
Could
whatever
be.
game.
Could be. Yeah, I guess that would be about that time where, mid-December at some point, and we'll be talking about that. So, yeah, that could be fun.
I can't wait till Killzone comes out and kills Halo.
No, and Resistance are gonna come like as a tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
Killzone will be like kneeling down behind Halo, and then Resistance will be like, hey, Halo, and push him, trip over Killzone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Oh God, like the Undertaker. Oh, okay.
VR2's coming next year, dude.
That too. We're gonna put goggles in my face again,
mm-hmm.
and hopefully it doesn't underwhelm.
The end.
The end. Everybody, love y'all. See you next time.
What is a Nintendo fanboy called? I feel like I've been thinking about that ever since we brought that up, and I don't know what it is. It's probably something obvious. You know, as I mentioned, I'm a little bit of a mess these days, and it's probably like right there in front of my face. I just can't quite think of it. So leave a comment on youtube.com/YumiCapri. Thank you guys so much for listening to this. And hopefully that wasn't too much for train wreck for you to maybe even consider, if you're not already, going to patreon.com/YumiCapri. $3 and up gets you exclusive content just like that and more, or patreon.com/PS Trophy Room, because Bab and I are very good friends, and I think this is the coolest thing. I want it to be, you know, at one point in time, some of you guys might remember the Make Us Better days. It was another Patreon that we had that had a bunch of us all together all at once, and, you know, we tried to do sort of like a all together kind of thing. It didn't really work out, which is fine, and I think this is sort of like the next stage of that, is we'll all have our own things. Our own communities, but well, lots of overlapping, I think, with the communities. Like, it's not like they're completely separate, but very cool, man. We can all do our own things, but still collaborate. And in this year of 2021, I've been really, really focusing on friendship and togetherness and building things together and the positivity and just trying to do all those things, man. Just trying to be the change that we want to see in the world. I'm getting a message from my wife. She sent me an image. What is this? Oh, snap. My daughter's about to have the greatest birthday ever, and I'm seeing what's happening upstairs as I record this. Guys, hopefully you enjoy that. I also was reminded of a term that we talked about on the Nintendo Pals podcast. Again, the show, the links are in the show notes. Verted. It came up once again that I play inverted, like maybe 1 out of 10 of every one of you guys listening. And the opposite of inverted, we discovered the new term is verted. And that had me just cracking up a ton over on Nintendo Pals. I had so much fun over. That was my latent Italian coming back out here. In any case, if you guys want to support the show, you can follow the Twitter at Yumi Capri's. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. YouTube.com/Yumi Capri, where you'll find this. You'll find the Xbox Drive. You'll find the Nintendo Drive. You'll find the PlayStation Drive. You'll find the RPG Cave. So a whole bunch of, we stream sometimes over there too, mostly just like archived, just live streams of what's happening on twitch.tv/Sean Capri. That's it. That's the end. I'm glad you guys are here. Next week, I've got a couple weeks booked up with the show. So I'm looking forward to what we've got. Hopefully you guys are all well. And we end the show with this Jason thing. And it's
Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!